2 long form videos on YouTube. Who is she? Okay, today I'm gonna talk about a concept and lesson that I learned from traveling that I actually talked about on my TikTok, and I feel like it's an important topic and really shows why I love travel and why it's so important, how it can be such a great tool to literally change your life and lead to self-discovery. I know it's cliche, you need travel to go find yourself, but I genuinely believe it's true. And what I learned, one of the biggest lessons, especially in the last year, I've been traveling for 11 plus years. Like I've traveled a lot for different reasons and I've gained a lot of different lessons. But being in my later 20s and traveling the way that I did last year, you know, more informed, more educated, more mature, I focused my travels, it just happened subconsciously, like I was just called to there. In the Middle East, Asia, and Africa, in a lot of places that are a Muslim majority. And I felt like my biggest learning lesson was learning the difference between, recognizing, I know the difference, recognizing how culture and religion have been blurred in so many ways, even beyond my knowledge, to create confusion and to really weaponize and create toxicity. As a person of color, as a South Asian woman, as a Pakistani, I've had my fair share of identity issues and I've had my fair share of struggles that I associate with my culture and my upbringing and my religion. And I think it's part of the reason why I connect with so many of you all is because we have this shared trauma, and a lot of it also comes from not having a sense of belonging, given that a lot of us are third culture kids. We don't really fit into the West, but we don't fit into like where our parents come from either. And so it creates this feeling of not belonging, but feeling of confusion, frustration, and carrying trauma and baggage that like only we can understand. And up until recently, I feel like we all thought it was like isolated experiences, but thanks to social media, we know that a lot of us are going through the same thing, and it makes us get so much closer to each other and understand. But traveling to Muslim majority countries that were not South Asian and seeing how beautiful religion is and how peaceful it is and can be, and how non-restrictive and oppressive it is, was glorious. As an American, Islam has been seen in the most negative light possible, and it hasn't really been helped because a lot of our culture bleeds into it, and it is culture that has just been created and not written anywhere in religion that things need to be like that, but they have made it so we hate parts of ourselves and don't understand it. And going around the world, learning it firsthand from different parts of the world on my own had me coming back to these conversations and things that were forced down my throat in my own way and in a way of appreciation. I almost feel like anyone who is forced into culture or religion and doesn't want it will go as far away as possible from it because it's restrictive, it's forced down, and you're not able to come to it in a way that you want to. And having my parents not informed, like having that decision, my community, or like the nasty aunties, like being on my own and exploring parts of religion and culture in my own manner without anyone forcing it upon me, had me feeling comfortable to want to go back and ask questions, not being ashamed to ask questions, like popping into a mosque here and there or popping into different communities and asking about like, oh, why do we do that? Why does it work this way? I feel like I've picked up more books around like religion and culture than I ever had before. It's kind of like when you're a kid and you're forced to read or something and you hate doing it, but then you come back to it later and you're like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. I feel that that's been like the biggest learning, and I think that's why my platform has completely taken a shift. Like, it has been more focused on being a South Asian woman, because I'm like, wow, I feel enlightened, and I feel like there are so many of us who could really benefit from this. Like, now I'm at a point where I'm ready to like reclaim my culture and heritage and learn about it. Like speaking in Urdu, yeah, like I only want to speak in Urdu. I want to go back to Pakistan, and I want to learn and connect with my family, ask my family questions about their upbringing, our culture, our food. I feel like I'm asking my mom more questions about like how to cook certain foods or like her childhood, because I'm genuinely interested and not ashamed of it anymore. And it took me personally, I'm not saying you have to go travel the world to see it, but it took me leaving completely and going, seeing other countries, other communities, other families, and how they appreciate and celebrate it, but also how societies there fully appreciate it and don't paint it in a negative light, to come back and be like, wow, it's so beautiful. I've traveled around the world learning about other people's culture. I forgot that I had my own, and that it's beautiful and worth celebrating. And I think that's also why I find myself in Dubai, interested in living in the Middle East. I want a little bit of the East, and I want a little bit of the West, because that's ultimately me. Let me know what you think about this topic, and if you have similar thoughts and what you'd want to hear more about. Okay, bye.